Hey y'all. All this week we've been working on kind of synthetic and factoring, synthetic division and factoring all together, trying to see how we can blend them, trying to see how factoring helps us with synthetic division, how synthetic division helps us with factoring and things like that. We talked about the remainder theorem and the factor theorem. So we're kind of using all these things, tying them all together so we can see how they're related, how they're related. So this is going to be the last little section that we're going to do to kind of tie everything all together. So the directions say factor the following completely given the factor provided. So I'm going to give you a factor, and then we're going to use that factor to help us break down the polynomial. So the first one, the factor that I'm giving you is x plus 2. I am giving you this factor, and this is the polynomial. Now, we generally don't factor things that are x to the third. We have some different ways that we can. We can factor by grouping. We can do the sum or difference of cubes. But generally, we don't factor x to the third like just right off the top of our head. So we can use this factor to help us factor this completely. So that is what we're going to do. So again, we're going to do synthetic division. Hopefully, you're getting faster and quicker at it. And we're going to do synthetic division. So negative 2 goes in the box. We line up our coefficients. 1, 0, negative 3, 2. So don't forget about placeholders. This is x to the third. This is x squared. This is x to the first power, and that's my regular number. Your first number always comes straight down. In this case, it's a 1. So that 1 is going to come straight down. From here, it's repetition, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. 1 times negative 2, add. Negative 2 times negative 2, add. 1 times negative 2, add. Now, the catch today is that I gave you a factor. Since I gave you a factor, in this case, I gave you x plus 2, this number here has to be 0. If you got anything other than 0, 0.5, negative 1, 2,000, if you got anything other than 0, you did something wrong because I'm giving you a factor. I'm telling you, hey, this is a factor. If I were to graph it, it's going to cross at negative 2. So, hey, this is a factor. So make sure this number is 0. So let's write this out. My answer is going to be x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now I can take this and factor it. Two numbers that multiply to give me positive 1, add to give me negative 2. Those two numbers are negative 1 and negative 1. Now the directions say factor completely. So my highest exponent is 3, so I should have 3 factors. So my answers are x minus 1, x minus 1, and x plus 2. So these two are factors. If you want to write it x minus 1 squared, that's fine. And then this is the factor that I gave you at the beginning of the problem, x plus 2. Ta-da! We have factored x to the third minus 3x plus 2. We have broken it all the way down into the 3 individual factors. Okay, next, number 2. We're going to do synthetic division. This is x plus 2. Negative 2 goes in the box. I do not think I'm missing anything. Oh, I am missing something, so I'm going to need a placeholder. So to the 4th power, to the 3rd power, to the 2nd power, to the 1st power, to the last power. So be careful, I was missing something for this one. This is x to the 4th. This is x to the 3rd. This is x squared, up to my placeholder. X to the 1st power, and then regular number. First coefficient comes down. We're going to multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, add. 0 times negative 2 is 0, add. 0 times negative 2 is 0, add. Negative 8 times negative 2 is 16, add. Again, this number here should be 0 because I told you that x plus 2 was a factor. We write our answer out. We started x to the 4th. This needs to start x to the 3rd. So my answer is x to the 3rd plus 0x squared, we don't need to write, plus 0x, we don't need to write, minus 8. So technically, I got all this, but I don't need these two terms because they're 0. So I got x to the 3rd minus 8. Now I can factor this. This is a cubic. Both of these are cubic, so I can do sum or difference of cubes. Particularly, I can do a difference of cubes. So our formula for that is a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So this is a difference of cubes. So think back to that formula that we did. This is difference of cubes. So we did that a few days ago. So my a is going to be x to the third. Excuse me. A is going to be x. X times x times x is x to the third. B is going to be 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. I substitute that into our formula. My formula says to do a minus b times a squared plus ab times b squared. Again, this is a formula. We did it a few days ago. Feel free to go back, look in your notes, look at the video. X times x times x gives me x to the third. 2 times 2 times 2 gives me 8. I plug those in. The formula says to do a minus b and then do a squared plus ab times b squared. So my final answer, I need, this is x to the fourth. So we need to make sure we have fourth exponents when I add them all together. So this counts as 1. This counts as 2 because of this 2 here. And then I was given 1 in the problem. So now we have all 4 factors that we need. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer is x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4. And all of this is our answer. So we have just factored x to the 4th plus 2x to the 3rd minus 8x minus 16. We have just broken that down. All right, we'll do 2 more together. All right, we want to factor this completely. Again, we're going to do synthetic division. This is 3 that goes in the box. 1, -1, -5, -3. I don't need any placeholders. X to the 3rd, x squared, x to the 1st power. I got my number. From here, we're going to multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. 1 times 3, add. 2 times 3, add. 1 times 3, add. 0 should be your remainder. We write our answer out. We started x to the 3rd. This is going to start x squared. I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to give me 1 and add to give me 2. So those numbers are x plus 1, x plus 1. 2 numbers that multiply to give me 1, add to give me 2. So those numbers are x plus 1 and x plus 1. So we can list all of my factors out. This is x to the 3rd, so we're going to have 3 factors. So my answer is x minus 3 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. And that is our answer. And I want to do one more, excuse me. So I got one more on the back of my paper here. We're going to go through and do the 4-step method. So I want to refresh our memory about that. You should have a foldable that you can pull out to help you look at some examples. So last one, we want to factor 2x to the 3rd plus 17x squared plus 23x minus 42. So we're going to factor this completely. 1 goes in the box. 2 is a coefficient, 17, 23, -42. This is x to the 3rd, x squared, x, and then my number. The 2 comes straight down. From here, we're going to multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. 2 times 1, 2. 17 plus 2, add. 19 times 1, 19. Add these 2 together, I got 42. 42 times 1 is 42. Add these 2 together, 0. So we know we did a good job with synthetic division because I got a 0 here. So we know that we did a really good job. Now let's write the answer out. We started x to the 3rd. This is going to give me x squared plus 19x plus 42. Now, this is the 4-step method. I'm going to flip my paper over for just a minute. All the other factoring we did was 1x squared. This is 1x squared. If you have a different coefficient in the front, you're going to go through those 4 steps that I showed you. So I'm going to go through those 4 steps to refresh our memory about doing the 4-step method. So step 1, multiply the first and the last number. 2 times 42. That gives me x squared plus 19x plus 84. Step 2, factor like we normally would. So when I say normal, I mean in the 2 sets of parentheses, fill in your x's. You need to think of 2 numbers that multiply to give me 84, add to give me 19. Multiplies to give me 84, adds to give me 19. So those numbers are 12 and 7. Step 3, divide by the leading coefficient. So the first number in this problem is 2. So we're going to divide this by 2, divide this by 2. 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. 7 divided by 2 is 7/2. And step 4, get rid of fractions. You can't have fractions to be simplified. So I need to multiply this whole thing. So I need to multiply this whole thing by 2. So my final answer is x plus 6, 2x plus 7. Now, that's my answer as far as just factoring 2x squared plus 19x plus 42. But this x to the third means that I got 3 factors, so I need to include this x minus 1. So my answer for the whole problem, my 3 factors are x minus 1, x plus 6, 2x plus 7. So that is my final answer for this entire problem. So what we did today, I gave you a factor. Go through and do synthetic division. Then it should give you 0 because I gave you a factor. So this number here should be 0. Then from there, use your good factoring skills, break it down, and list out all of your factors.